Hello, my name is Matthias Cavodi. I'd like to welcome guys to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the Heroes Reborn era of the Marvel Universe. Back when Marvel tried to revamp the Avengers, Iron Man, Captain America, and the Fantastic Four. They sent them to this pocket universe, and they really tried to make them super cool, awesome. Likes of Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee returning to Marvel and working on these books. And we're going to cover Avengers issues 7 to 11. It's almost the end of the run because they went on for 12 issues, 12 or 13. I'm not sure because they had that weird crossover with the Wildstorm universe at the end. And we have the end of Rob Liefeld's participation in Avengers in issue number 7 as one of the writers. And then we transitioned into the last story arc. And I remember starting reading Avengers by this time. Back when this came out, I was 16 years old. Prior to this, I really didn't like Avengers. I was already reading for a real long time X-Men and Spider-Man. I just couldn't get hooked. And I remember getting the Heroes Reborn Avengers issue number 1 and really liking it. I really enjoyed the whole Heroes Reborn thing. But as an older adult, I went back to reread these issues, and they're a mess. They just tried to do too many things. There's too much focus on spectacle and not enough on plot. Of too many characters. I do like some of the reinterpretations of these characters, the change of look and stuff like that. Like they were trying way too hard. So let's get into these issues of Avengers. It's the end of this run. In this first issue, we have writing credits from Rob Liefeld and Jeff Loeb, and art by Ian Churchill. Yep. So this isn't a Mexican edition, so they would always throw in these character sheets that I have a ton of, and I really love. In the first part of this issue, I think we were dealing with a situation. There was like a brief crossover within the Heroes Reborn universe. I can't remember how it's called, but the thing is, Ant-Man, Vision is on the fritz. We have Ant-Man within Vision's body, and Ant-Man has this insane body armor. I just noticed that Ant-Man has the Iron Spider legs on his back. Well, these are going to be ant legs. So thing is, they're sort of recreating that classic story where Ant-Man goes into Vision's body. We're gonna get into that territory where I'm gonna tell you guys that I told you guys, sorry, that we get way too many characters. Like in these couple of issues, you're gonna see way too many villains going at and attacking the Avengers. So the Avengers are chilling out at the mansion. Wonder Man arrives with his 1980s costume. I thought it was the 1980s costume, the one he used in the West Coast Avengers. No, this is a recreation of his original costume. Sorry for that. He arrives asking for help. He clobbers. He blindsides poor Thor, who's chugging down a beer. A battle ensues, and they are attacked by Enchantress, Ultron down here, Executioner, Wonder Man himself, again, Scarlet Witch, who has gone bad. So, next issue. All these are American editions. By this time, because I was living in Argentina when I was a kid, normal American comics would come here regularly. For quite a few years, we didn't have issues getting these. It would be all over the place. It would be very available. And I remember back in the day, a lot of people would buy these. Be it that we're in Argentina, a Spanish-speaking country, they would always buy these American editions. Even though the quality of the paper isn't as good as the ones that would come from Spain, that's always caught my attention. The main bad guy to this whole run is Loki. And by this time in the series, he's discovered that they're sort of like in a pocket reality, and that the characters that are here actually don't really exist, and he can actually absorb their life essences. So he's like hopping around this pocket dimension, feeding off all these fake villains. So first he feeds off Kang, then he consumes Mantis. In the middle of this story, we have a change of writer. Walt Simonson is now the writer, and we have art by Michael Ryan. During this run, this character looks like Tigra, but no, she's called Hellcat. The Avengers are able to deal with these bad guys. They start taking them down one by one. They make a run for it. Don't make a run for it. They actually get captured. Nick Fury arrives. There's a lot of bad blood between Nick Fury and Captain America, as normally happens. A couple of pages later, another group of villains attack. We have Whirlwind, Radioactive Man, Black Knight, Claw, and Melter have a get at it against the Avengers. The Avengers easily dispose of these guys. Actually, they defeat them in the next issue. Here's Loki absorbs Executioner. So very quickly, the Avengers, in basically 3 pages, deal with all these villains. Beating these guys, the team sort of breaks up because one, Thor is sort of pissed off that he doesn't see enough adventure and violence and stuff that Vikings like doing, and he gets really pissed off and leaves. And like in the past couple of issues, there's been nonstop battles, so it just doesn't make sense why Thor would get pissed off about this. Hawkeye sort of wants to be the leader. He doesn't like Captain America's leadership. He has issues with authority. Really quickly, Hellcat also gets really pissed off and sort of bails out on the team. Just pops up. These are always, at least classic Enchantress, opportunistic, pops up, talks Thor into joining Loki. The really cool thing that I did enjoy about this story is that Thor leaves. They have this weird reactor that seems to be like a white hole where weird stuff is going on. Like a bunch of old school Avengers villains sort of pop up in this reactor, but Thor pops up out of nowhere. So we have 2 Thors in this dimension, and what we discover is that the Thor that was running with the Avengers up until this point was actually the Thor of that dimension. This is actually the 616 Thor that sort of got lost in the mix when he was ported to this dimension by Onslaught, and now he has arrived. So that was sort of cool to see the situation. I thought it was well thought out of. Back during this time, you would have always these gatefold covers, which would have all the basic info of the characters and what happened in the previous story. I used to love when they did these, but I guess this would add extra cost to each issue. But I always, still up until this day, I see these and I have a big smile on my face. This little extra effort is very appreciated. So the new Thor joins the team. He is courting Hawkeye to join his cause. And Scarlet Witch attack their old teammates. I really love the design of Hawkeye's suit here. It looks really awesome. And he makes his final attack, and he becomes a giant. And really, I really don't like when characters become giants in stories, unless it's Giant Man or a character that's already gigantic. But when they grow and become this size, it always loses me in stories. I feel like they jumped the shark. So for some reason, Loki decides to become a giant, starts attacking the city. He's going to take his final vengeance on the Avengers, do whatever he needs to do, take over the world. I don't know what Loki's after. Thors make friends and devise a plan to take down Loki once and for all. They try to trick him to make him think he's fighting a giant Odin. So we have 2 characters that are taking me out of the story. And at the end of the story, all the Avengers join forces, take down Loki once and for all. He's defeated. Reborn, Thor dies, makes a sacrifice to help defeat his evil brother. And to end this video, we're going to focus on all the comic book series that came out. While the Avengers, Fantastic Four, Iron Man had gone to another universe, we got #1 issues for Thunderbolts, Deadpool, Heroes for Hire, Alpha Flight, Maverick, Kazar, Man-Thing, and Marvel team up. Like, Marvel pushed out a ton of titles, and we're missing Quicksilver. And a couple of these series became really important. Thunderbolts became a very strong and established franchise within Marvel Universe. Obviously, Deadpool, Heroes for Hire, and Alpha Flight, even though they only lasted around 12 issues, and Maverick too, they were pretty interesting runs. Kazar too. Man Thing, I never saw one of those issues. I think it was canceled after 3 or 4 issues. And Marvel Team Up also sort of really floundered. But it was a really good time for reading comic books. Like, even though Heroes Reborn was sort of a hit and miss affair, like some issues were good and some were bad, most of them. Um, Getting all these other series it was really good. It was interesting to see what Marvel was trying to do. So, hope you guys like this video. See you guys next time. Bye.